The sun is setting over Shimla, and our plan is to go for a walk. This is the ridge. The sun is behind us and we are facing east. So I'm actually quite hungry right now. I don't know about you, and therefore the plan is to actually head back towards the hotel, eat something, and then come back. There you are, that's the setting sun. Now we are heading towards the hotel, heading in the west direction with the beautiful sun right in front of us and the Bantony Castle on our right. It's situated on a hill which is called the Bantony Hill, and that's where the name comes from. And this is a structure which was built in the late 1800s. And I think we did speak about Bantony Hill in one of the earlier videos. So Bantony comes from Bentinck, Lord William Bentinck, who was the first Governor General of India and who'd actually built a house on this hill. But yeah, for now, as I mentioned earlier, I have been super hungry, so I'll grab this omelette and then hopefully I'll have the energy to get back into the Shimla evening and walk around and explore the erstwhile summer capital of India. Wow, there you go. It's a beautiful sunset on this chilly evening in Shimla. And I'm actually somewhere in between the Mall Road and the Ridge. So the Mall Road is at the lower level and Ridge is further above. That's the Christ Church, looking very pretty in the Shimla evening. This was actually the first church which was built in Shimla for the Christian community that lived here. Looking so beautiful. It was built in the mid 1800s. This is the Ridge, the one level above Mall Road that I was mentioning. And as you can see, people congregate here usually in the evenings for these beautiful sunsets and the beautiful evening skies. This is also where the Christ Church is located that we were checking out a little earlier. And curiously, this is also where Indians were not allowed at one point during the British rule. So now we are in a very different space, as you can see. This is the Lakkad Bazaar, and I have, and so have you, crossed the whole of the ridge from the west side walking towards the east side, and this is what you have once the ridge ends. And as you can notice, this is the chirpier, the busier part of town with more shops and more economic activity and more street food. It's definitely a place where people hang out in the evenings and shop. As I mentioned earlier, we are in the Lakkad Bazaar area looking westward. We've got the ridge on the west side as well. And of course, if that was west, this is north. We are looking over at the clouds and the hills just to the north of the ridge in Shimla. And it's about time that things will start to get really dark and really cold here in Shimla. Wow, Look at that beautiful sunset. And what we see right down here, this is the ridge that we were talking about earlier. I think it's the biggest public space in Shimla, and it's also a public space where Indians were not allowed when the Britishers were ruling here, which of course is part of the atrocities that the British ended up committing when they were ruling here. Of course, they also ended up building this whole city, the city of Shimla, but yeah, it's complex. Colonization was of course never ever good, but maybe what was good was this mixing of cultures and mixing of thoughts and the shared diverse history that came out of it. Of course, it should have been the case that we Indians should have been able to walk here on the ridge as well. That would have led to mixing of the people as well in those times. But yeah, coming back to the present, this is the beautiful Shimla. Now I would say it's almost night, it's not even evening, the sun has set, and we are walking past the very nicely lit town hall, and also just adjacent to this is the Gaiety Theatre, as we spoke earlier in one of the earlier videos that you've not watched. But yeah, anyways, this has been a fun evening walk here in Shimla, and now it's all dark and cold. I think honestly I'm surprised that I enjoyed this evening and this night walk as much as I did. I don't know why, and maybe it's just me, maybe you did not enjoy it as much, but I think for me, whenever you add that historical context to a place, the whole thing becomes so interesting. You start to think about the places, and you start to think about the people that you're seeing in a particular location and how they came to be wherever they are. And that's what makes conversations and walks and these travel experiences all the more interesting, at least for me. So for me personally, I think this video was twice as fun. I should not say video. This walk was twice as fun as I'd imagined it to be. As for the video, I know I'm sort of mostly hanging out around the average zone, and I can take that. But yeah, I'll catch you again very soon right here in Shimla.